Here we have the majestic blowing plains. Kind of blowing, I guess. That's the feed plot. That's going to be cut down probably this coming week. I'm going to be cutting that down. You can see the rest of it is cut. I know I showed you this before. So anyway, here we have the carrot pots. Now the reason the carrot pots are like this is you can actually see how the house casts a shadow in the car. You can see we don't live on a compound. If we did, we wouldn't have that. I just call it the compound because it amuses my wife. It amuses me and annoys my wife. So anyway, you can see the house casts a shadow, and so do I. So what I do is I will take, and you can see all the bricks in there. This is one of the benefits of a container garden. Yes, I know I have to cut the inside of there. I'm just going to let the rabbits go around in there and eat everything. They'll like that. But you can see the bricks in there, and you can see these are obviously cocked forward. I gotta get out of, I gotta get out of there, son. You can see those are cocked forward. Those are on bricks. When I put those to bed for the night, when I put the garden to bed, I call it, I'll put them in there and I'll have them facing so that the back is raised like this because the sun comes up over there. That's the east. So a couple of other changes here. We have this, which actually I don't know what that is on the leaves there. So that might not be doing too good and that might get culled, but I believe that's a cucumber. I got my cucumber and squash seedlings mixed up. You can see this has a length of PVC pipe in it. When I used to work for the oyster farm, there were guys, one from all over the world, but guys who were American who had worked all over the world. And that was something that the kid came up with. They were working on a farm it was a container farm. This is a container garden. I call this my farm, but I mean, I know it's just a little garden, but they worked on like a container farm, like it was acres of this, growing potatoes and carrots and everything that I'm growing here. They grew it all in buckets like this down in Australia in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And they would take lengths of PVC and they'd drill a bunch of holes in them, a bunch of fine holes in them, and bury them so that they would run across like this to the plant. You can see how that goes down and in. And what that does is that brings the water directly to the roots. So what I do is I wet all of the soil, but then that's where the watering goes for stuff like that. It's stuff that you can also do with stuff like this, with the potatoes and things like that. I did do it one year with potatoes and I wasn't happy with it. It didn't work that well, but it does work very well at keeping the water in the in the root system of these here. So you can see, moving over here, I had put up this tomato cage over the strawberry plant that I got in here as a trellis, and I thought, well, it's not really going to climb if it can't get to it. So I took a bunch of these little packing straps. I always keep stuff like this. It's just webbing that came. It was wrapped around something. I don't know what, but it was part of packaging. I always keep it because I always use it for stuff like this. It drives my wife nuts. Oh, what are we going to do with that? Oh, wait 3 years. Moving over here. Well, first off, you can see, and then I'll talk about this. You can see back here, I did something similar. These are the snap peas, and I want them to grow and go up, and I want them to be productive. So I gave them a little trellis. Basically, I took more of this strapping stuff and rigged this up with. I always find when we go camping at we like to go to like the national parks, and the last time we went to Acadia, the Bar Harbor up there, we found a whole bag of tent spikes, and it's just tent spikes. They're good for anything. And here they are. being used in there. That's the key. Most of what I use in the garden is stuff like all these containers I got when I was working for a farm. They were getting rid of them. And the 5-gallon buckets, they're like $2 a piece, $3 a piece. But actually all the Home Depot ones my mother gave me, she was getting rid of them. So this here, what is this? Why did I put a bunch of straw in here? These are potatoes, and you can see they're getting bigger and they're kind of climbing out of there. And that's why I did this. If you look, did I cover them all up, or am I going to be able to show you? I even left one to film this, and then I got into stuff in the house. So what the reason behind this is, if you look, if I'm looking at the right one, am I? Where are they? Where are those little things? Yes, I know, I should have paid more attention and set this up, but I didn't. All right, so what you're looking for is, yeah, there they are. See those little nodules there? Those little guys there? Those are gonna be potatoes. So what you do is, when you get green like that, you cover this up. Some people say wait for them to flower. Some people say just cover them up when they're tall enough. I've done both, and both of them will give you potatoes. But that's basically what I did all along. And when it gets taller, because it'll come up to about here, and then you fill it up with a little bit more. That's how you maximize the yield of I know potatoes. I've grown these for several years, and I'm comfortable growing them. That's how you maximize that. You just keep building it up, and straw works best. Some people say use dirt. Some people say use compost. I use straw, and I've always used straw. The next layer that I'm going to put on these is going to be a layer of probably straw with a little bit of rabbit manure mixed into it. I did put a layer of rabbit manure under everything, but I'm going to mix it in with the next layer of straw when that comes up. That'll be when that grows, probably another 3-4 inches. Whatever. I mean, I'll be able to look at it and say, oh, there's more of those nodules, and I just, you just kind of go based on that. You got to pay attention to it. Again, these carrots, normally carrots are just, oh, I put them in, they grow, and there's no problem. They're aggravating me this year, that's for sure. Probably because I want them to grow and I'm worried about them, but they'll do their thing. Got a couple more. Those actually popped. The seed starters they did, they got little greens in there, so I moved them over to the sun. And I was using that press and seal stuff, but honestly the clear saran wrap seems to work best. So that's pretty much about it. I'm gonna get out of the sun. Maybe I'm gonna move that one to get it further into the sun, give it a little bit more time. This is all I do for this. People say, oh, gardening, it's fun. And it is fun. But it's not just putting a seed in the ground and watering it and walking away from it. You gotta maximize what you got if you're trying to produce something with it. And I'm trying. I don't know if it's gonna produce. It's a journey, and we're gonna find out. So I've got a little bit more to do out here. I'm gonna make up a couple of these, at least one of these buckets, because one of those is gonna be ready for transplant tomorrow morning. But this is it. It's work. It's following the sun. It's fertilizing and continuous care of things, and it's worth it. It's worth it. And if it's God's will, it'll give us food. So I hope wherever you are that you're comfortable and that God is with you. Thank you.